The problem with Valentina Shevchenko is that she doesn't have a dance partner. There is no girl less than Amanda Nunes who can roll or spar or kickbox with Valentina Shevchenko. Man like Cam, there. Now can we talk UFC Uruguay? All right then. So Valentina Shevchenko gets it done against Carmouche. Not the most fantastic nor exciting fight that you're ever going to see in the world, but nevertheless, massive showcase for Shevchenko. She is that girl. She's so good. Step ahead, man. Again, not the fantastic highlight reel finish that we all like to see. Not like the mad head kick that we've seen in their last fight, but nevertheless, she gets it done. We know that Carmouche is very technically competent since she nearly subbed out Ronda Rousey in the first match that Ronda had in the UFC. Carmouche isn't anything to be played with. Plus, the only fight that UFC don't apparently have on record, Carmouche beat Valentina Shevchenko the first time round. No video footage to evidence it, but apparently it did happen. Carmouche is the real deal. All her training partners say that she's as strong as an ox. Yet and still, Valentina Shevchenko just handles her, dominates her, first to the punch, varies up her offense, takedowns, lower leg kicks. She's a different level. I tell you what the problem with Valentina is that she doesn't have a dance partner. There is no girl less than Amanda Nunes who can roll or spar or kickbox with Valentina Shevchenko. Now that we're in the Conor McGregor era, the entertainment era, being a good fighter is not enough. I've said it before on here and I'm gonna say it again. You can't just be a good fighter today because no one ain't interested in that. UFC for the most part is a mainstream game. You only make your big money as a prize fighter if as a Conor McGregor or as a Daniel Cormier. You need to be that man in front of the camera who's got some chat, because otherwise mans ain't interested in you. So the danger for Valentina is that she's going to fall into the Demetrious Johnson territory. And by that I mean Demetrious Johnson, one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. Still today, he's over at ONE FC, and he's over at ONE FC because UFC let him go. The reason why they let him go is because he wasn't charismatic and he didn't put bums in seats. He didn't have a good enough dance partner. Okay, Henry Cejudo, a little bit charismatic with a snake and all this madness that he likes to do in the press conferences. Nevertheless, DJ got let go. And Valentina, I think she'll be all right because there's not a dearth of quality fighters out there that the UFC can pivot off of for the women's divisions. But nevertheless, man, people aren't going to watch her. Who watched that UFC Uruguay fight? The main event, really? Who watched it live? I'd love to see the figures because I don't think it would have done very well. Nobody's not interested. Everybody took the weekend off UFC and are going to tune back in next week for the Daniel Cormier Stipe Miocic 2 fight. That's what people want to see. So they're sacking off Valentina despite the fact that she's one of the sickest fighters, men or women, that we've probably ever seen. She's a killer. Ultimately gets it done. Credit to her. Anything less than Amanda Nunes fight second time round. Who's really interested in that? Pains me to say it still, but nobody cares. So let's talk to the co-main for a second. So Luque gets it done via decision against Platinum Mike Perry. What to say about this fight, man? So you want to be an Ultimate Fighter? Have you seen them pictures of Platinum Mike Perry's nose? Not me. Nah, I like fighting, you get me, but I'm watching on the sidelines. No way are you ever gonna get me in an octagon or a ring to be taking them type of damages to where my nose will never ever look the same. That's a madness. Rate Platinum Mike Perry for that. And this is why we've got to respect these guys for going in there and risking it all. You can die in there, man. It's happened recently. And you can have some life-changing injuries that will affect your face. His nose will never look the same. That's a madness. Salute Platinum Mike Perry. Geezer's sick. And you know what's a shame? Tragedy that he lost the fight. I think he deserved to lose because I think Luque was better for the most part. If I talk to Mike Perry's technique, a lot of people are praising him for using the jab a bit better, being a bit more effective, head movement, all that good stuff. Being honest, I didn't really see it, to be fair. Platinum Mike Perry's gift and his curse is that he's a very tough guy, but then that speaks to he's got one game plan, right? He's a hammer of a fighter. He's gonna come in there and try and knock you out. And there were no schisms. There's no finesse. There's no sort of skullduggery around that. He's come into the octagon to try and knock you out with every single punch. Every single punch. Wide hooks. He plants his feet for exchanges, and ultimately, to his detriment, that's what I think led to that flying knee that he got caught with that broke his nose so badly. Plants his feet, man. There's no sort of, he fights like me and I'm a novice. I will plant my feet in a boxing ring and say, all right then, jab, right hand, uppercut. I'm gonna throw that regardless of where this dude is, regardless of what his feet's doing, regardless of where his head is. And that for me is Mike Perry's downfall. And he's a very good fighter in that because he's durable, but technically, I think he's one step away for sure from Luque, and that's what ultimately lost him the fight. But from the top class fighters at that weight in the UFC, I don't think he'll ever do well because they'll see him come in and they'll be able to adapt accordingly. That's his Achilles heel. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ability to adapt to whatever's in front of him. Fair play to Luque for getting it good. Again, I don't think he's that great either, but just a step, just one step or one rung even up the ladder from Platinum Mike Perry as far as the ability to adapt and vary your attacks. So fair play to Luque. And then in the fight preceding that, Luis Eduardo gets it done against a fellow called Humberto Bandeirnet. I'm not going to talk too much about the fight, but I think there's a promotional lesson to be learned from putting a geezer from Uruguay in an event in Uruguay, because he looks like a big star. The crowd comes to life. It's great for us watching at home because the atmosphere is just mad. And ultimately he gets the victory done and gets on the mic and speaks to his fellow people, his fellow Uruguay people in Spanish. Can't hate that. Can't hate that, man. It gives an extra facet, an extra layer to the event. So no longer do I want to see you putting these, don't put a geezer from Uruguay in a London event. Stack the card in Uruguay with as much people who are from Uruguay as possible, because it does add an extra layer to the event, similar to what they do in London, similar to what they did with Stipe Miocic, putting him in Cleveland, that sort of thing. So I think props to UFC for doing that for the native for the man from Uruguay. Decent event, doesn't knock off my socks, but listen, bang it, cannot wait for next week's event. It's a nice appetizer, a starter even, to next week's main course when Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic get it on. Nate Diaz is fighting Anthony Showtime Pettis. Can't wait, gonna be sick. And then Yoel Romero is taking on Costa. Are we spoiled as UFC fans any? Take it, can't wait. Cool, bless.